What's up, USPBL fans? My name is Carol Wolfbound. We've missed you since last summer. So, to try and get you guys ready for the summer, we're doing some interviews. But today we're honoring Black History Month. So, with us today, we have Dre Nelson from the West Side Woolly Mammoths. Dre, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good, Kara. It's really good to see you again. Just been enjoying this off season, getting stronger and faster, ready to go for the next season coming up.
Yes, yes. Good to see you as well. So, first, just tell me maybe what you've been up to so far in this off season.
Oh, a lot. Becoming a new dad. My baby girl is 2 months old now. Been doing lessons, been training heavy, finding a way out to really manage my schedule the best way I can with everything going on. Find as much sleep as I can with the newborn being at the house, and then having to wake up like at 4 and then double back and wake up for workouts at 8 or 9, just kind of getting on schedule and stuff like that. But everything's getting better. Baby girl's getting on a schedule now, so just going along with how she wants to go day by day.
Yeah, she dictates the days right now.
She very much does. Very much does.
First thing, again, we're celebrating Black History Month. Let's just talk about maybe your personal or cultural background, anything that stands out to you, special stories when you're younger, anything along those lines.
So yeah, I got a couple of stories. I mean that just truly were inspiring to me whenever I was younger. Whenever I was younger, we were playing at the RBI Youth Academy, and whenever we had like our regionals and stuff like that, we were able to go and try like travel ball and stuff like that and play in Cincinnati and everything like that. We went to Cincinnati and we had a breaking barriers essay contest, and I was fortunate enough to be able to win that essay contest. And fortunate enough, the woman that presented the winning laptop and the congratulations and all that good stuff to me was Mrs. Robinson, Jackie Robinson's daughter. And Jackie Robinson is one of my favorite players. I even have him tatted on my leg. I love his movie 42, and just to be able to just hug a bloodline of Jackie Robinson, knowing I wasn't even born yet whenever he had passed away, but just knowing how much impact her dad has had on the world and the change that he has conquered has just been truly amazing to be able to just hear from her and get to know her a little bit, kind of hear her background and things like that, and kind of the story she told about her dad to me was truly inspiring, just for me to keep going and understand what situation I am with the color of my skin, but know that God is on my side and people will see me for who I am and they'll love me regardless.
That's so special. That actually gave me just chills on the other side of the screen. I can't believe you met her. That is such a cool
Yes.
experience. Can you talk more about that and maybe just her in general, getting to talk to her, how that, I know you talked a little bit how it felt, but can you just elaborate more on your relationship kind of with her?
Yeah. So she does it every year. She does it's called a Breaking Barriers essay contest where she has certain players from certain teams. Like with me, I was with the Astros Youth Academy. So she talked to the GM there and said, "Who do you recommend that would be good to write an essay to be able to enter into the essay contest to hopefully be able to win something?" And they were like, "Boom, I know the perfect guy. He has a tremendous story, and I would love for him to be able to express that and get that out to the world." And we were fortunate enough to be able to write that essay. I had some tutors that were helping me like finalize it and analyze it and everything to make sure it was good and professional. So just writing that story. That story was about my mom and my childhood growing up. Just truly, just going back in those good days before she had passed away due to breast cancer. That's why whenever you guys see me play, I got a lot of that pink on and all that good stuff. Wrote about her, and it was very inspirational to the other kids and stuff like that in the league. And wrote about that. She read it, and while she was reading it at the contest where everybody was after the tournament was played, she was breaking down as she was reading the story. And I was listening. I'm like, okay, why does this sound familiar? And then sure enough, it was my essay. And then I started breaking down, and everybody was looking around like, what is wrong with this guy right here? And they kept just listening and listening and listening. And then my teammates kind of caught on, and they was like, "Oh shoot, he did write an essay, and this is his essay. He just won." And so they started wrapping around me and stuff like that. So she finished writing the essay. I mean, reading the essay, and then called me up, and I'm walking up there tearing up and all that good stuff. She gave me a big old hug. She was tearing up, and it was just crazy to be able to experience something like that, knowing that your idol's daughter, you made her tear up with a story that really meant something true to you, and now you have that relationship whenever I go back out there. So whenever she comes back down to the Astros Youth Academy, I go and see her. Hey, Miss Robinson. Hey, Dre. And then we just keep talking and stuff like that. But she does a very, very good job in making sure that the RBI academies focus on education, because that's very big. That's very big, especially with the education. You want to have your education and things like that. You want to be able to have the chance to go to school and have those opportunities afforded to you. And she does a really good job of making sure those opportunities are afforded, especially due to the fact that her dad has such an impact on baseball. So now she feels like she has to have that impact on Black baseball players, but through the educational side. So just being able to witness that and being able to have everybody come up to me, hugging me and saying like, thank you for sharing that. Cause that was really, really deep for me. And being able to express myself through my writing was truly a blessing to be able to let people know like, hey, if you're going through the same thing, you're not alone. We all go through certain things, different stuff, but at the end of the day, we got to be able to push through. And again, like Jackie Robinson, he was able to push through a lot. And that's why us black baseball players are able to do what we do now, is because of what he was able to deal with and having that thick skin and being able to go through those trials and errors. But he did it for a reason, and it paid off. And now we have a bunch of Black baseball players that are doing very, very well at the highest levels and making a really good name for themselves, and a lot more coming up as well. So just excited to be a part of that. I know I'm only an independent ball, but it doesn't matter. We're still playing professional baseball, and we're able to live on a legacy that Jackie Robinson provided for us.
Well, that's super special story. So thank you for sharing with us. That's extremely cool. I just love hearing it. That's amazing. But also, so you talked about Jackie Robinson and the impact he had on you. Well, how does it feel now too to know that you are a Black baseball player that is in front of children watching all the time? So you kind of get to be that maybe role model these kids get to watch.
Yeah, and it's truly been a blessing to be able to accept that role, because I didn't know I truly had it until like I had those little Black baseball players coming up to me and saying like, "Man, I want to be like you." And I always say, you can ask any one of my kids, I always say, "Hey, don't be like me, be better, please." And if you need my help to do that, that's what I'm here for, because I train kids baseball and softball here over in Houston, Texas, in Humble, Texas, at DBAT Humble, and I train all sorts of races through there. But at the end of the day, it's truly a blessing to be able to have the little Black kids come to me and come to my camps and be able to witness some of the other Black baseball players that I met along the journey. You got a bunch of guys that are playing in the bigs right now, a bunch of guys that are playing in the minors right now that I was able to bring out to my camp so other kids can see them. I mean, at the end of the day, if they don't see anybody that looks like them, it's kind of hard to relate to certain things. And it's kind of like, well, why not just go to football or basketball? I see majority of the guys that look like me playing that sport, so why not? But it's like having the opportunity to be able to see your skin color guys playing in baseball and doing really well for themselves. It's like, okay, well, you know what? I can do it too. Regardless of what anybody says, I can play infield. I can play wherever I want. I can play catcher. I can do this. I can do that, because I've seen the foundation being laid out right in front of me. And that's one of the biggest things that I pride myself in, is being able to give back, because I know for a fact I wasn't able to afford or be able to receive the same privileges as certain kids. But at the end of the day, you have a choice to fix it. And I chose to fix that. And I'm here to always make sure the kids understand, like, hey, I'm here for you whenever you need me. I'm a lovable, hard working coach. Everybody knows that I'm extremely hard, but I make sure to love on the kids, because I mean they need that. And that's how I was. I love the hard coaches, but I love that to know that they still loved me and they were always looking out for me. And that's what I really make sure I do a good job at, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna be hard on you, but I'm also gonna love you, so therefore you can continue to get better. And that's what I really take pride in, just to be able to do that here in Houston. So it's been a blessing so far.
And you talked about your mom earlier. Is there anything that could anyone in your family? I know you especially talked about her, but anyone that with you as a child impacted you with culture or anything specific traditions?
Yeah, my brother, my dad, they for sure. Because my brother, he loved the game and stuff like that. He had quit when he was younger, but it was due to the fact of just not really having that person to be there for him to get him through those things. And he made sure to turn that around for me, because I dealt with a lot of struggle coming up. Like I got hit by pitches and I was like, I don't like this. Like I don't know if I should be playing and getting hit. Like I don't like to get hit and I can't do anything about it. But like with football, if somebody hits you, you can go hit them back legally. And I'm like, well, baseball, I can't really do that. So I got to find a way to get my frustration out other ways. So, and that's comes with hitting the baseball or getting on base and doing exciting things on the field. And my brother really helped me. Like he developed me as far as, because I had a really bad attitude when I was younger. I mean, all of us did when we were younger because we always wanted to be the best and everything like that. But he really humbled me and made sure that I understood, like, hey, if you really want to do this, you have to like work 10 times harder. Not necessarily because of where you are, but also because of the color of your skin. Because you got politics, you got things that go on in the world that you really have no control over. But you got to be able to fight through that and go through that every day, and just remind yourself, like, hey, get better every single day. So therefore, you don't have to look back and say, did I do enough? Did I give enough work or anything like that? Because and my dad was the same way, making sure always he didn't play baseball, but he knew about the hard work. He knew about athletes' life, and he made sure to instill that in me. And I was like, okay, well, at the end of the day, hard work will always pay off, regardless of where you're at, where you're from, what you look like. At the end of the day, somebody will find an interest in you. You just got to keep going to make sure that you find that person that has the right interest in you. And just like right off the bat, right there, the USPBL had interest in me whenever I was sitting out for the past 2 years trying to figure out what I was going to do with baseball. And then here goes the USPBL calling, and then boom, we're back. We're back to playing baseball and back to living out my dream again.
So we talked about your brother and people impacting you. You and your beautiful wife brought a new beautiful baby girl into the world. So
Yes.
let's talk about her. Anything culturally or anything you plan to instill in her as she continues to grow up?
Yes. Everything that has been instilled in me, just understanding that whatever you want to do in life, you got to be able to work hard, because if you don't, it's gonna be taken away from you. And what are you gonna do about that? Are you gonna fall back, or are you gonna continue to push harder? And that's kind of how it was with me with baseball. For the past 2 years, was that baseball did get taken away from me, and then I had to go through that struggle. Had to really find myself. At that time, I was engaged, and I was getting ready to plan for a wedding. And before that wedding, I had got released by the Angels. So it's like, do I need to be selfish and call off the wedding because certain things aren't going right and with me right now, or do I need to go ahead and pursue this because at the end of the day, I have a life outside of baseball, and my wife is still very important to me, and I've always wanted a great family regardless of whatever went on in baseball. So just understanding that, whenever we brought our little girl in the world, was like, okay, we have to be the role models, because at the end of the day, if we don't teach her the right way, who will? And if somebody else will, it might not be the right way that we want her to go about certain things, because little things like that go a long way as far as, okay, what type of role model are you being? What example are you showing your kids? Like, you can tell and teach and do all of that, but are you actually leading by example to allow them to follow? And that's one thing that I'm really big on. Even now, like, she don't remember anything that I'm doing right now, but little stuff that I'm doing is making sure wife's taken care of, making sure she knows what to look for in a man whenever she gets older and things like that. So therefore, she won't have to go through a broken home and all that stuff, had like kind of what we had to go through when we were younger. Me and my wife both came from broken homes, but we swore that we weren't gonna allow that to happen for our kids. And we have our fights, we have our arguments, but at the end of the day, we love each other, and we're going to be able to show our kids that, hey, you might go through trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, if you love this person and you, like you say you do, you're going to do whatever it takes. So just being able to have that leadership role of where I want to see myself, like having goals, having ambitions to want to get things done. Because like I told my wife, I told her I wanted to make sure that, like, her name's Drew. I wanted to make sure that she knew what her daddy did for a living and knew the type of work and effort it took to pursue that. Because if I feel like if she was able to see it firsthand, then she'll understand truly, like, okay, if I want to get to a certain level in life, this is what I need, this is what's going to be required, and this is what my dad and mom taught me. So it'll be nothing but a blessing to be able to hear my daughter say, "This is what my mom and dad taught me, and this is why I'm like this." And then it'll be a good turnout, because I already know that God has a shield over her, and He's going to watch over her no matter where she goes, what she does. But I know for a fact that whatever we instill in her is going to stick for her for a long time. And my hope is to have it be tremendous, have it be good, have it be long lasting, to where when we do leave this earth, she's not necessarily worried about how she's going to go about life because mommy and daddy made sure that she knew how to go about life. Little stuff like that really was a thought of mine, just getting ready to have her and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, life's getting ready to change, dude. You got to fix some things up just to be able to be that leader. And again, like with my kids that I train with for baseball and softball, I have to be that leader in general anyway. So just truly understanding that every kid isn't the same, having to learn how to coach certain kids, how to deal with certain kids, taught me how to make sure that I'll be the same way for my girl and then my other kids to come forward. Because again, they're not going to be the same kid. I'm not going to be able to teach them. Oh, I'm going to be able to teach them the same thing, but in different ways. I'm not going to be able to yell at one because one can't handle that. I'm not going to be able to talk soft to one because they're not going to be able to understand that. So it's the fact of having to learn with the kids that I train, having to learn how to teach and coach differently to certain ones, but still give them the same message, but allow them to know that I still love them at the end of the day.
So thank you, Dre, so much for joining us today. It was amazing to hear your story and your wisdom, and I'm so glad you got to share it with us.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, well, all the USPBL fans, make sure to check out our schedule. May 17th, we'll be returning back to the ball field, and so will Dre on opening day. The Mammoths face off against the Unicorns.